I'm going to record on this one as well. So we should be about live on Facebook right now. There we go. Ta-da! We're live. So the joys of modern technology when it works. Fingers crossed. So just a heads up, actually, Vanessa, to let you know that once I was on one of these calls and I got disconnected, but the other person was able to stay on. So if I do get disconnected, I'll come back on just in case if the internet. So welcome to Perfect Sake Marketing Adventures with Carmel. It's actually been over a week since I did my last post, but that's okay because we're getting ready to wait for this amazing person that was coming on today. So I would love to welcome beautiful Vanessa Jean. Now, let me pronounce your surname properly. Boscarello Ovens. Is that
perfect?
Right?
Yeah, yeah, but you can just say Vanessa Jean. But yes, you pronounced it perfectly.
That's okay. Awesome. Bit of Italian there, maybe.
Yes.
That's cool. So welcome to Perfect Sake Marketing, and thank you so much for taking the time to come here.
Thanks for having me, Carmel. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been a long time. We've known each other for many years.
Yeah.
So let me just, for the people that are watching this, as I said, we'll be going into a few groups. And if you're on YouTube watching this, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell so that as we bring you more interviews and more marketing tips that you can get them too. So Vanessa has combined an amazing journey, and I've been observing it, so it is truly amazing, of food and essential oils, and has created a business that's not only profitable, but growing, and also brings health and vitality to people, which is something I love. And also retreats and meditation and some amazing experiences, of which I have experienced them myself. And later on, we're going to be talking about her book. So we'll talk about that in a few moments. But I just wanted, some of the kind of questions that I ask people when they come on are things like, tell us a little bit about you in terms of what brought you to where you are now. What got you into what you're doing now? Who was Vanessa that decided, oh my God, I need to do something else?
That's a great question. So from when I was really young and very close to all of my grandparents, family was everything for me. We were always in the kitchen. We were always cooking, creating. My grandparents on my father's side, that's the Italian side of me, from Sicily in Italy. So they grew everything, and I basically just grew up with that notion of what you grow, you use, you eat with the seasons, it's organic, it's nutritious. I'd wake up to the smells of freshly baked bread and pizzas and soups and pasta sauces, and we'd have big pasta sauce making days and baking days, and so it's been replete with loving connection to food and the land, and my connection with Mama Gaia just kept amplifying. I've been meditating since I was a little girl. I had the total blessing of a father who just helped to keep everything alive in me, and his parents were very devoted, and so I would see them pray in their different ways. So Nonno outside in his garden giving thanks for the harvest, and one pivotal moment for me was him kneeling on the ground, his hands in prayer. And I asked Nonna what he was doing, and she said, he's giving thanks. He's giving thanks to the harvest. He's giving thanks to God for the incredible blessings that we are showered in. And it just stuck. And I actually used to love to go to mass with my nonna. She was so devout. She was so high faith, but she lived it. She embodied it. It wasn't just, go to church on a Sunday and then be a total rat in the week, And so there was something about the rhythm of ritual, of daily devotions, of ceremony that became so deeply entrenched within me that I've just carried that through. And so I didn't grow up with just one religion. And so for me, religion is love. Dad just kept, like, we always had open discourse. It was a conversation about everything and anything, including that. So when you fast forward then, and I finished school and go to university, I'm a psychologist. I also did lots of integrative therapies, trained in aromatherapy and plant medicine and lots of herb law and all the things I loved. healing work, I ran my own business. I kind of came out of uni very grounded and connected to my lineage and who I am and my soul purpose, my mission, how I wanted to shine my light in the world. And I was very clear that it was to love and to be loved is why we're all here. So I knew that if I could just emit that transmission out with whatever I did, then I would stay true to me and stay true to why my soul said yes in this life. So keep fast forwarding, and that manifested in these retreats, one day and weekend and week-long retreats, both in Australia and overseas. Lots of writing, lots of creation, co-authoring this particular book here. And really it's about the connection with Mama Gaia and her children for me with everything I do. So that's why I still to this day teach aromatherapy. I work with very high vibration essential oils from all around the world, deep connections with the farmers. It's like, for me, this is something that is so deep within me, and it is divinity. It is goddess force. It is the embodiment of the divine goddess, so that's how I came to be where I am. I just knew if I just kept it all alive, if I kept just, heart meditations, connecting everything in this way would bring me to living a fulfilled and joyous life.
Yeah, joy is the highest purpose, really, isn't it? And it's interesting you say that, because it's amazing to hear you talk about it. It actually exudes from you. And as I say, I've known you for years, and it's never changed. Like, there's little things you might have done more cooking at one stage. You might do a little bit more retreats at another stage, but they've always incorporated with each other. And I always remember you using the oils. And then at one stage, you obviously went higher into using even more oils, but they all complement each other. They're a natural progression, if you like. But I'm sure that along the way that there's been challenges, and I know, and part of the reason that I love to bring people on is people have an assumption and they go, oh, it's okay for you, it was just natural for you, it was easy. And it's like, well, no, there's always been challenges along the way. So what has been your biggest challenge throughout all of this?
Yeah, so if I feel into the different offerings that I create, and one of the challenges was around money, financial exchange, because I gave so much of myself so often and for free or for very minimal. So that was one limiting belief and framework that I was operating under, that I had to become very conscious of and very willing to relinquish.
Yeah.
So my relationship to the energy called money really altered. It altered hugely. And it opened a door for me to enter into, to still work with the phenomenal gratitude that I love to harness every single day of my life, and to be able to dance with this flow, this energy called money, so that I can give more to the world. And I do, and I can. And my essential oil business is something I run with my beloved, with my husband, who you met, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And we dance this together full time, and it's a joy, and it's crazy good. And I really had to overcome that so that I could receive the abundance that was coming for this particular business. Like, it's, $1 million business for us. So it's something that I really had to relinquish all judgment around and see it in the light that it is, that I can continue to bless, we can continue to bless the multitudes with this beautiful energetic shaft of light that is grace. Yeah.
And yeah, that's amazing. What was in that, if you could give a tip to, how do you start to open up to embrace that?
Well, for me, it was really that meditation with my heart and calling in this ray of abundance that we call money, and accepting it into me. Like, really just saying, I give so much thanks and praise for this gift, this energetic gift that is money. And I ask that, as always, I show up to serve the higher good with this in my hands.
Yes.
It's with that kind of the income that just keeps growing and expanding, you know, because this is residual income.
Yeah.
With that comes huge responsibility and a huge kinship for Paul and I in our capacity to serve. So we look at where we want to place it, where we want to give as well. That's really beautiful as well, Carmel. Like that's something I can probably, you know, if you want to use the word tip, but something that will open the heart so completely, because we love serving. We absolutely love serving. And to think about our money going to things that we're passionate about, like freeing children from sex trafficking, helping to bring revelation around young girls and women understanding their body and their moon bleed, and they're not disgusting and they do not deserve to be raped and battered and even maimed during their moon cycle. Also contributing toward the aftercare once they're freed from sex trafficking. You know, and there are others as well, but they're like main areas that really sing into my heart. And without me diving into, you know, tapping, doing EFT, which is what I did my thesis on over, oh my God, it was like over 20 years ago now. It's really showing me my age now. You know, when I did my thesis on tapping, for instance, Carmel, that energy psychology, we called it back then, EFT or TFT, it wasn't very known. But I think for all your viewers now, they're going to know about it. Tapping therapy is a thing, like you're working with your meridians. So use it, folks. Like, you know, get those fingers out, get those intentions out and say, even though I feel totally revolting around money, even though I feel like money is disgusting and yucky and ugly, and even though I feel like it's repulsive, and even though I'm afraid that I will turn into something icky in the world, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, you know. So you just tell yourself your money story while you're tapping. And whatever comes out, let it come out and be tapping. And then continue with the cycles. What's really helpful is if you rate it from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being extreme, you know, dislike, repelling of money, to 1 or to 0 being, I'm good, I want to dance with it, you know. And make sure after each cycle, after each round, you rate yourself so you can feel the change
going down.
Because what happens is you change, and that's just one idea. You can meditate with it, you can do what you want, but you change and you don't realize, because you're now in a new place. You can't relate to where you once were.
I love it. I love it. That's such an awesome tip. And I guess to just add to that, it's without judgment as well.
It's without judgment. You just
no judgment, whether it's good, bad, or whatever. You're just saying
totally. And you can ugly cry over it, you can rage over it, whatever, but you just keep tapping. And something that's really beautiful is to like take essential oils, like maybe you do like a blend like frankincense, wild orange, ginger, bergamot, and maybe like a dash of ylang ylang or rose. You know, rose would be really beautiful there. And you make it into a roller bottle like this with carrier oil. And you can put some citrine chips in there and maybe some rosebuds to open the heart, you know, infuse it with those botanicals and crystal chips, the essential oils, and your intention to deepen in your relationship with money. And what you do is you're just anointing yourself literally, you know, on those points, if you want to, over your heart, over your solar plexus, wherever it feels icky, and just hold those points and take a deep breath in. I deeply, deeply trust in the ray of abundance called money. I deeply trust myself in relationship to money. I open myself to this beautiful ray of abundance called money. You know, and so we open ourselves to receive, and, you know, make sure you're inhaling it, because the thing is tapping is setting up this vibration, right? It's helping to take you out of dissonance into harmony again. Scent will do the same. So when you're working with essential oils that are like up to 70 times stronger than their natural state, meaning the herb or the tree that they come from, or the citrus, you are helping to alter your frequency, right? You're altering your frequency. So the words you speak can also align with that and alter your frequency, and you create an aromatic anchor. So every time you smell that blend, you're transported back, you're teleported back and forward in time. You teleported back to the moment you created that aromatic anchor, your new relationship with money, let's say, and forward in time to the future memories that you're calling to you as you summon money to you and beautiful people, circumstances, and events that are going to bless this endeavor, your business, your whatever it may be. So scent is really powerful in there to help alter your frequency.
Well, they talk about all the different, whether you're visual or auditory, but actually taste and smell are the two stronger ones of all. We just can't tell it in language when we're talking and things like that, but they are actually two of the stronger senses of all. So that's a great, look, I use oils myself, and I use them quite intuitively more than structured. And certainly, as I said to you earlier, I burnt my hand yesterday. The first thing I do is, well, two things. Number one, I go to which oil is going to cure it. And then I look at psychosomatically, what's the meaning of what's just happened? Why did I burn that hand? And why was it the left hand, the right hand? Because naturally, there's a lot of stuff that we can be told if we're actually open to receive the messages that the body is telling us quite often. Yeah,
absolutely. Awesome. And the plants have that message to us, and when you smell them, it's going straight up into the brain, and it accesses the limbic system, which is the emotional control center. It's the place where memories are formed, so on and so forth. So it makes sense to create these anchors. And like you said, when you work intuitively, and I know a lot of people feel like, I'm not intuitive. How would I know? I need to know. I want to know the facts. But if you were to just look at the essential oils before you, or look at a selection of herbs or fresh veggies before you, and if you just stopped and just tuned in, asked your body, what do we need right now?
Yeah.
What are you longing for right now? What do you want to connect with right now? And when you open those eyes, you'll feel as though something's glowing at you. It just looks a little more radiant than the rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll just pop out. Me, says the broccoli. Use me, says the frankincense. It's like, you'll get your rhythm with it.
I think it's so important to add to that is the stopping and just thinking, because we grow all our own food and things like that here. So quite often I go out in the garden and I'm going, what do I want to eat? I literally just intuitively pick whatever I'm going to make for dinner. But I think we overcomplicate it sometimes and think, well, I have to have this medication or that medication or that kind of perfume or that kind of whatever, which I'm not saying there's no place for medications, but I think that it should be secondary to actually listen to our own wisdom.
I feel like, it's like business. People in the past have wanted to separate business and the heart and the mind and keep them in their compartments. It's the same with this. People maybe have stopped remembering that their body is a sacred temple, that our own inner wisdom is the best guiding light. We've just gotten a little lost along the way. But when we start working with, this is what I made myself before I came. I've already, gone through a fair bit, right? And I have my herbs in there to support my, perimenopausal hormones. Shazandra and black cohosh and, this myriad of beautiful, and then I've got rose in there and spearmint and, and it's just trusting yourself again. It's trusting that when I align with my body, which is my sacred temple, I can align my whole self. Your business is no different. Your business is a living, breathing entity. It needs to be fed and watered and nurtured and listened to and connected with daily. If you disassociate, if you just go in there and do what needs to be done and get the heck out of there, then your relationship with your business is not going to be what it could be, which is deep and lasting. And, residual income, that's what it is. It's a continued interplay of energy between you and the entity of your business. Do you know it? Do you understand what your business wants, what it takes to thrive?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And it's so what is the saying? If you are doing something that you love, you'll never work another day in your life.
Absolutely.
So if you can bring it all in together exactly like you have, you were using oils anyway. So why not use them as a business too? And, all of the other elements too. Believe it or not, when I was looking at some stuff, it's quite funny. I actually saw you were on a show that I was actually on, although different times, many moons ago, on the couch. We were on a show called
Bread.
Yeah, but you were doing a cooking segment there. So so you've studied psychology and tapping and all of the things. So the love of cooking and actually being at one stage or some stages portrayed as somebody who is chef-like or cook-like, whatever you want to put on it. How does that come out? Was that just a natural progression for you, or did you have some training in that too?
It was such a natural progression. People started asking me for recipes, and I was like, a bit of this and a bit of that, like, because that's how I watched my foremothers cook always. So I started teaching classes, and I was literally, when they'd say how much, I'd be like, oh, that much, literally like that. So that just started progressing. And I actually, after I had my daughter Ariel, so Paul and I have an amazing bonus son, Connor, who's nearly 19, and then we have a daughter together named Ariel.
Right.
And Ariel's nearly 16 now. But when she was little, like, we decided once we start having babies, we're going to have this family together. What my value was, I wanted to be home full time with them.
Yes.
That was my dream. That was my total joy.
Yeah.
And then after a while, when she was older, I came across Jude Blereau, who is whole food chef extraordinaire in Perth, and brought organics to Perth, and she is phenomenal. And I went and did her course, and afterwards I think she sent an email out to us saying she needs a new assistant. And I spoke to Paul, and he goes, "What don't you do it? It's just like Wednesday nights and the occasional Saturday." And I was like, I don't know about leaving Ariel. Anyway, I spoke to Jude, and she really loved the idea of us working together. And she was so accommodating. If Ariel was, needing me and I was a bit late for prep time or whatever, she would just cover. And we had a beautiful, lasting relationship together for a number of years, till she was like, "You can do this, come on," kind of nudging me to go on and do it. And it took time for me to want to do that. And I think the biggest change that came there was I started working with the essential oils just for myself. And then I was contacted out of the blue through my food alchemy site. The Wellard Community Centre had received a grant. And so they asked if I could teach whole food cooking classes and a raw food magic with cacao that I do for a course for the community there. And I said, absolutely. So for 8 weeks, I taught that. But you see, I was already using these essential oils. The doTERRA essential oils, as you know, we can ingest them, right? We can use them for food flavoring. So I was like so excited about this, and I just started putting them in Carmel. So by the end of the 8 weeks, they were like, "We love the recipes, we love the food. Now, how the heck do we get
the oils?
Essential oils? We need to use them for these recipes." So I said, "Look, we're used to meeting every Tuesday. Let's just come back." So we did, and that was like my first proper oils class here in Perth, in West Australia, because I'd done loads in Melbourne teaching to pharmacies and things. And that was like the beginning of the launch of my business. And I think that was how I strongly came associated with food and oils, because from then on I was teaching at community centres, because that was a way I could give back. Whole food cooking, organic food. I was teaching raw food because a lot of people weren't doing it in a very, very good way. Yeah. It was not conducive to their health, it was not so great. And they didn't really know how to make vegan food and stuff. So that was that natural progression, right?
Yeah.
And I guess for me, spirituality is something I never disassociate from anything I do. Everything is imbued in spirit, because we are spirit. Yeah. So, our physical form inhabits the spirit body, right? Yeah. So the spiritual aspects of the oils, the sound journeys, the meditation, the chanting, all the things I was always doing anyway, became part and parcel with all of this.
Yeah.
You see? So even though people might say, "Oh, Ness Food and Oils, Vanessa Jean Food and Oils," it's really the whole picture, the metaphysical. The whole picture. Absolutely. The metaphysical as well, the emotions and the physical body. Yeah. All of it.
Because I even remember going to a cooking class with our dear friend Sophie Wood.
Yes.
And you were doing the raw day. And look, it's through you and a few other people like that I followed that I've ended up doing it myself. I make a smashing raw mint slice, and I use the oils in it as well to enhance it. And it's just, So thank you.
Sophie God and I have actually got a cooking book in the works right now as we speak.
No
We
way,
did all the
have you?
photos for it over the last year, and now we've just got to get our butts into gear and write the recipes properly, because we're both the same. We're both a bit of this and a bit of that.
I know. I've been to a couple of our cooking classes. It's like, oh, for God's sake, Sophie, tell me what you do. Oh, just a little pinch. It's like your fingers are bigger than mine. How does that work?
Yes.
And I look forward to it. I remember getting your, it was a printed out just in a paper book at one of your classes. It was,
yes. Yeah.
So it's such a huge journey you've had to go from doing all that study. And when you think about it now, I'm sure you've done this yourself. It's like, it's always been with the mind and the spirit and all of this, even with psychology. Like all of that has just been layers upon layers upon layers of that deeper understanding of that true wisdom that's us. Yeah. So
it's because it's so connected. It's so connected. So
it is.
That's why this was born, right?
I was just picking up my one. I was going to say, tell me, how did this one happen? And thank you so much.
Yeah, such a pleasure. So she was born on the eve of our summer solstice, Northern Hemisphere's winter solstice, a couple of years ago. Adam Barralet, who is my soul brother, and I both have phenomenal interest, love, and devotion to connecting with Mama Gaia and bringing her message of the plants and animals and, Crystal Kingdom for his case as well to the world.
Yeah.
And so it just felt so huge, though, to write our own book on this. It just felt big, and I think we were both really busy. And so his partner, Jonathan, said, what about doing one together? And we were like, what about doing one together? So we did. So we got together at his house in the hills. And I can't type and channel. I can't be on devices. Right. So we literally just kind of grabbed a recording device and set it just down there, and we speaked. So we just let ourselves channel what wanted to come through. And so this book is a collection of channeled pieces from the plant kingdom and from Mama Gaia, and the interplay of beautiful history, mythology, lore, and what history reveals to us. Sacred blends, affirmations. So I'll show you what we've done, just so that you know.
I have one tiny complaint about the book.
Oh, what? There's oils in there that you can't get?
No, there just wasn't another couple of food recipes with the oils.
Oh, yeah, they're coming. They got to come.
I know. I was like, oh, no, give me a couple more. No,
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can see here, everything is a 2-page spread. Can you see that clearly?
Yeah, black.
So we have the name and the species name. So black spruce, Picea mariana, and we'll often tie up a story with the species name if we can. In this case, that's actually Mary, interestingly enough, right? And then there are 3 key words. So if you just want to work with it and kind of grab those key words and go, that's it there. And then my gift to you is eternal wonder. That's what I want to work with, There's a beautiful practice which can feel really magical, or just a, daily practice you can imbue your life with, and an affirmation. And then we have 3 master blends and an explanation of them there.
Using that same oil.
Yeah. So meanwhile, over here, you've got the history and the lore and where it's from and the plant and how to use and the gifts that the plant brings in the essential oil form. Over here, though, we have 3 key blends. They're master blends, and they all have the particular essential oil we're talking about. So, for instance, love of Mother Mary, black spruce, bergamot, myrrh, and rose. And then we have a description. Use this blend to call on Mother Mary to invoke feelings of love, safety, and peace. If you're afraid to let love in, bergamot releases fears, allowing the nurturance of the other 3 oils to beam in your heart. Connect with the sanctity of her sweet embrace by diffusing or anointing over your heart. Mary was one of the first goddesses honored. She's that divine feminine spirit, so there's different blends. You can use them in spritzer bottles, make roller bottles, aromatic dressings, whatever you like, right? So it's a beautiful way to connect. And what we've done is it's not an A to Z, as you've seen, from beginning to end. We've divided them into the 5 magical elements of earth, fire, air, water, and Akasha being the spirit realm. Right. And it's A to Z within them.
Yes.
And this can be for anyone using any pure essential oils. It's not just for doTERRA or any of the other brands.
I noticed that.
It goes beyond brand, because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a clinical aromatherapist as well, and I'm really passionate about bringing aromatherapy and essential oil usage safely to the world and joyously to the world.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I did notice that it wasn't branded. Sorry, it wasn't branded or anything like that. It was definitely comes through in the book. It's about the oils. Obviously, a good quality oil and everything, that's a given. But it was more about the oils than it was about any specific brand.
Yes, yeah. There's not even any mention of the brand anywhere.
No.
In there. So so that was that kind of that message. And the idea with the affirmation, how we're talking about tapping earlier, and we're talking about aromatic anchors. You can create an aromatic anchor with the affirmation. So for black spruce, it says, my soul reminds me to tap into universal wisdom.
Yes.
So you can write that, or you can say that as you're zhuzhing this and carry oil all over your body. If you're, connecting to magic, to the mysteries, to the wonders of the world. Right now we have this beautiful full moon and lunar eclipse, and you can really immerse. We've got beautiful blends for different sacred days, from the more what was called pagan or Celtic rituals and ritual dates, or that's associated with witches, and the dates that have been taken and made into something else,
Yeah.
And really all they represented was the turning of the seasons.
Right.
The spring equinox,
as you say,
summer solstice,
it's kind of like,
it's the new season. That's all it is. Like, there's nothing mystical about it. It's just the world moves and changes, and we have new seasons,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I did love that you did include chocolate in it, because I think the taste sensation of the cacao in with certain oils as well, it's like giving yourself even more love, isn't it? It's just so glorious. It's beautiful.
So true. Yeah.
And so I'm just amazed, because I've learned some stuff that I didn't even know about you. So tell me now, and I have a fair idea what you'll answer this, but what is success to you? Like, what would you classify as success to you?
It's showing up to love. It's showing up to serve the higher good of all. It's my daily devotional is, how can I be an instrument of your love, of your peace, of your honoring of all beings? How can I serve the higher good of all? And I speak that devotion to myself, to my inner divinity, to my goddess self, my God self, whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm summoning forth. It's the full presence of love.
Yeah, I think it's vital to, and we see it a lot now, is actually aiming it at yourself. So quite often we're very, helpful to other people, and we do all this, and the only one place that we're ever actually told to look after ourselves is really on an airplane. Put your own mask on first. The rest of the time, the expectation is to look after everyone else, but speaking it to yourself is vital, isn't it? So a couple more questions. One of them is, and I'm always fascinated by this with any of my guests, is, so what are some of your success habits? So you have a multi-million-dollar business, you're a mom, you have a book, you have other stuff going on. So like, there is a busyness there. But what are some of your non-negotiable success habits for you?
Meditation is non-negotiable every day, morning and night, and any time in the day where I feel I need. So before I came on here, about an hour before, I went into a really beautiful meditation outside in the sun on the grass. My dog came, sat by me, not negotiable. Time in nature, not negotiable. Yeah. So I just find places for that to happen in my day. Another non-negotiable is I create a lot of spaciousness. I say no more than I say yes. I just really do. Yeah. And I always tune in and feel whether this feels right for me. And even if I've said yes to something and committed and it stops feeling joyous or expansive or where I want to be, I will graciously pull out.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, I really will. So everything for me is about joy, and that is non-negotiable. Absolutely non-negotiable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my path is one of love. My path is one where, you know, if I'm going to transmit love and be the transmitter of love, then I need to make sure that I'm completely aligned, whole body in love and with love.
Makes sense.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. And so many of us don't take the time to do it. And like, I remember somebody ages ago telling me to do meditation, and my mind was going, I'm too busy, I'm too busy. And a beautiful elderly lady who's a very dear friend of me, she said, Carmel, you don't have to sit like this to do meditation. She said, do meditation when you're washing the dishes. Just literally be. Notice the smell of the dishwashing liquid. Feel the warm water on your hands. And that was actually the technique that taught me how to meditate.
Yeah.
But so many people are so busy. So when you say meditate, is there a time kind of that you think is a preference, as in how long you should do it, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or is something just better than nothing?
I think it's very personal.
Yes.
I think it's really personal. You know, for someone, 2-minute drop in is enough and they feel really recharged. Someone else might need 20 minutes. Someone else loves their 4-hour forays, you know, once a month or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter. What matters is your intention and the presence you give it. So that's that very Zen or Buddhist way. If you eat, just eat. That becomes your meditation. When you hang out the clothes, that becomes your meditation. That actually is one of my meditations. It's hilarious. My family, it's a running joke. I love washing clothes. I love clean house. I love all of that. And it just takes me to a place of feeling sublime, because I treat my home and the space around it as a sacred temple.
Yes.
And I honor this body as a sacred temple. So I honor and nourish both of them. I nourish this by feeding it, by giving it time in the sun, time under the moon, time out in nature. So my home has me cleansing it and clearing it, and my husband and the kids, and, you know, all of us are imbuing it with our energy and our love, you know, because it is our temple. It's our sacred haven, you know. So it all becomes a meditation. And there's so many different forms of meditation. There's dynamic, there's still, you know, you don't have to just sit still and not itch your nose if your nose is itchy. You can dance for meditation. There's some beautiful, gorgeous dynamic meditations all over the world. You can be looking at a flame, you can be gazing at the moon, you can be watching a blade of grass or a ladybug moving on a blade of grass. You know, it all is about being present to what is.
Yeah, totally present in that moment. Yeah, it's a running joke in my family about me doing dishes as well, for that reason. What is the hardest decision you've ever had to make in business?
I don't think I have them. I mean, I live in such a space of joy with it. Maybe it's things like, and this probably won't even seem that big to you, but when people show up to say yes, and you work with them and you pour everything into them, and that decision, and they're no longer showing up, and that decision to just surrender, just to let it go, and surrender to the universe providing you with actually something that will serve the high good of all. That's probably the hardest decision, because it's knowing when to let go. When to keep believing, and then what, and then nothing's happening, and for how long do you do that, and when to let go. Probably that.
I get that.
It's been a tough one.
And you know that those people need that help and they wanted it, and they don't, and you're like, well, do I push them or do I just go, that's your journey?
Yeah, because it gets to the point maybe where we want it more than they, you know, I want it more for them than they do themselves. So it's recognizing that and having the courage to release, to let that go. And to live, and let them just have their own journey.
That is exactly their journey. Cool. So we're coming to the end of today. It's been so awesome to chat with you. So if people would like to get a hold of your amazing book, or any other of your products, or get in touch with you, what's the best way they can do that?
So my main playground is Instagram, and my handle is @foodalchemy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So Vanessa Jean is what I'll go by with everything. And you can see on the recording, it says Paul and Vanessa Jean.
Yeah.
That's our YouTube, Paul and Vanessa Jean. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm on Facebook as well, but Insta's my main playground. And actually on Instagram, there's a link there in the bio, and that link in the bio takes you to where to purchase my book, because she's available all over the world. We've got distributors in most major areas. My offerings, I run 6-month online journey called Voice the Goddess, a beautiful mentorship program. Live retreats are coming back, all of that. Yeah, and lots of online stuff for those that, maybe can't make it over here. So it's all there in the link in my bio, or reach out to Carmel and she can connect us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Vanessa Jean, it's been awesome to reconnect with you and have you share your wisdom and love with the people in the cyberspace, wherever they are. I really honor the person that you are to show up in this way and share your wisdom with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sending love and much gratitude. And may all be blessed by this and all of your offerings. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.